I have a son that has disabilities. Would it be permissible to get a dog for him to aid with his disabilities?
So can one get a dog to aid a child or an adult with disabilities? In general, right, one doesn't keep dogs as mere pets, right? However, in the Sharia, we see that it is permitted to keep a dog as a shepherd dog, right? Or as a guard dog outside of the home, right? And there's basis in that. Particularly, for example, there's the hadith in Sunan Abi Dawood and elsewhere. The Prophet ﷺ was praying on a journey when he was, with one of the tribes, and there are dogs walking in front of him, right? Dogs and cattle, and there's permission in the Sharia for shepherd dogs and guard dogs, etc. From that, when there is a need, right? When there is a need that cannot otherwise be fulfilled, it would be permitted to have a guide dog in the household, right? But one has to look at what are the circumstances, what is the option, what are the options, right? So in some cases, if someone's blind, for example, and they don't have other ready means, to have a guide dog at home is a great alleviation and a great facilitation. And then one should look at what guidelines to follow in terms of ritual purity and so on. And when things are difficult, rulings become more expansive, right? But when there are ready alternatives, that the same thing could be fulfilled by other than keeping a dog at home, then one would avoid it. Because generally one avoids it unless there's a genuine need that cannot readily be fulfilled otherwise. And in those cases, one looks, in the specific case, at the options available. Are there other ready options that would fulfill these, the specific needs, etc.? And in those cases, it would be good then to follow up with the specific case that we consulted, the experts in this, and this is what they advised. And so one takes, because a fatwa in these kinds of things relates to a specific situation, right? But in general, if there is a need that cannot otherwise be fulfilled readily, then there would be a dispensation, like there's a dispensation for guide dog, for a blind person or a vision impaired person, if they don't have other ready means for that. Right? But for example, I have one of my teachers was blind, but he was to go around all over town on his own without a guide dog, etc. Why? Because he would have people. He gained a sense of he was able to guide himself around the city and so on. And then there's ways to determine these kinds of things, but that depends on particular circumstances.